do my pillow
Hey, everybody, huh? Yeah, you can you can show your pillow. Hi, everyone. It's Shannon, and it is Radiant Rap. And guess who I have? A couple people have told me that they like when mommy is on. So I'm from New Jersey, but I'm in New Jersey today. So I'm broadcasting live from Jersey with mommy, aka Beatrice, artist, Moss Ray. All right, no Moss anymore, but hey, some of you know her as that too. Um, so I thought she would come on and talk to us, drop some knowledge, some wisdom for us this morning. Some of you or this afternoon, evening. It's been a heck of a week, a heck of a year. It's interesting to be up here and see some of the colors. Mom, you see these leaves over here?
they're starting to change.
They're starting to change. Beautiful. I have on a mask just because I've been traveling and I like being extra, extra careful. And because I'm so close to mommy, I want to make sure that I'm protected. She actually is um, vaccinated, but we do know of plenty of people that have contracted COVID who are vaccinated. So I'm not trying to be the one to come around my mom and Poppy and then you know they contract the virus. So I'm really careful around her. So that's why I have on the mask today. So I thought of a few questions that I would ask mom today. Well, first, mom, I came up because we lost a cousin, a really close cousin. And so, mom, I just, just publicly want to express my condolences. And I mean, we've lost a lot of people. I mean, I don't know, ever since I've been born. And you were always a certain way about death. So can you just share like how do you deal with it and just share how you've helped us, your children, to deal with death?
Well, it was not always easy. I
Mm,
grew to understand life a little better as I became more stronger in the Word
mm,
and listening to the sermons of a Bible believing pastor. Um, I've learned that death is really part of life. I've
mm,
learned that it's a circle, and
mm,
we go from one generation to the next, and then the next, and it's just like we're not here to stay.
mm,
I found peace in knowing that those who do pass are strong and know the Lord, that they know they're just traveling through, that there's a better place. And I believe in my heart that one day we will see each other again and we'll rejoice. So it gives me a more calmer being with death. It's not that I'm not sad at times. I think when that first happens, it hits me kind of strong because it might be the situation. Well, this cousin, we were very close, as you know. Our children group, we both had four children. We were very close. But she had been sick a long time, and she had traveled a long, hard road. But she was strong in her. She never gave up, and that was the beauty of it. And she was a believer. She's a Christian woman, but she was really strong. During her sickness, she would push forward. So that gave me encouragement in knowing when she said she was tired, and when she finally closed her eyes this time, I knew that she was at peace.
Thanks, mom. For real, my mom is really good at finding the silver lining in whatever. At least that's the impression maybe some of my siblings. Thanks, Michelle. Maybe some of my siblings will vouch to that. But mommy was it has always been able to kind of help take the edge, the rough edge off of whatever the situation. So I admire her for that. Now she's sitting here on her porch, and I wish you could see. She's got like a bunch of knickknacks that she's working on. She's always working on a project. Mom, what tell them about the project you're working on right now?
Well, the project I'm working on now, I'm doing some little trinkets. Sometimes you can put them in your car, making jewelry and putting earrings together, crosses
I just want
together,
y'all to see some of this.
and it's just hooking up jewelry. All my little tools, my little pliers,
She's so cute.
and I make trying to make my first pillow. I made my quilt. Finally, it took me 2 years to finish my own quilt. Always made quilts for the grandchildren when they graduate. So this was a hard task for me. It's not perfect, and I'm not pleased with it, but I'm trying.
Mom, they're cute. She's such a perfectionist, and she's gotten really really good at quilting. So her quilts are perfect because she's been doing it a long time. And then these pillows, she just this is her first time I think kind of doing this
My first
quilt
time.
thing. So yeah, she's not happy with them, but they look really cute I think. So my mommy's always keeping herself busy doing things like this. And I wanted to bring mom on too because um my it's it's um breast cancer awareness month, and mommy is a survivor. um 9
nine,
years.
9 years.
So
Hmm.
congratulations. 9 year survivor. And so which is fantastic. I just wanted to ask mom a couple questions about being a breast cancer survivor. How did you find the strength to go through your treatments? That's one.
Okay. The treatments, it
Mhm.
was not really finding strength to go through them. It was trying to understand just what it would entail. And
Mhm.
my doctors I had were very, very good and explained everything. And I think I just put my faith in God and trusted my doctors.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, how did friends and family members what did they do or say that meant the most for to you when you were going through?
I think the most that they did was just really saying everything was going to be all right. But the best thing was just letting me know they loved me and they were there, because you can't really say too much to a person. They don't know what to say. So you just feel their love and know that they're standing with you. And most of all, I knew my husband was with me, and that was the biggest part. That he was right there through it with me.
That's
Hmm.
another thing I love about my mom. My mom is a fighter. She is like, I mean, just the sweetest person ever, ever.
Yeah.
Mom, I don't even know. Have you always been this nice, like since
No, nah.
mom? I
I
bet you if
think
I asked people, they would say you have.
I try to be. I always thought I was.
As a little girl.
I can take a lot, but then as a little girl, as they used to call me, well, I got the nickname Miss B when I was a young girl. They always said I was like an older woman that had been here before, some old person. So I don't know. I never really looked for trouble, got in fights. I always try to find peace and love.
See, she was. See, that's my mom. So, what three things, pieces of advice would you have, say, for the woman who just found out that she has breast cancer? Do you have any recommendations for her?
All right, she just found out, and I would
Yesterday. She found
yes,
out yesterday.
yesterday. My first words is first I would just put my arms around her and tell her just have faith. Everything is going to turn out all right. Uh, Try not to worry, because I know that you do, but you
Mm,
try not to worry. But don't stress out until you know all the facts. Let them go in, see what's what, because sometimes they go in. As in my case, I was fortunate it had not touched the lymph nodes. It was in my breast, but had not touched any lymph nodes or anything. And for some reason, I had a peace within myself, just saying, I had prayed, whatever, wherever it is, let it be treatable, please, if it's your will. So just try not to overstress yourself until you know all the facts, because everybody is going to tell you, well, I know this person, I saw this person, and you know people that things weren't, it was really bad, and you've lost loved ones with it. So, but don't, try not to let your mind go that way. Just say, I'll see what my situation is.
Yeah.
See what your situation is.
Yeah.
That's the best advice you can give.
That's good advice, Mom. And so, and just we're praying for you, with you, if you
Yes.
are diagnosed. And just keep in mind that there are so many different forms of breast cancer, so
Right.
many different types, and they're all not the same. So make sure you follow up. You know me, I also want to just touch on the preventative part of it. So just, make sure you are going for your annual appointments. Don't miss them, and make sure you're doing your breast examination. Right, Mom? You
That's
have anything you want to add to
it.
that?
And what I wanted to add is, see, I really could have been really stressed out because my mother had cancer, and hers was really, it was all in lymph nodes. It was everywhere. So I could have thought the worst and really freaked out and lost my mind worrying. Worrying is not going to help, as I said. And as my daughter said, make sure you go and have your mammograms, be tested. And if you feel a lump or something, go and attend to. Don't put it off.
And so for those of you that went, I know this is something that we probably all do, and you can send me a message when you do it every year. But don't you celebrate when you go, oh, you get that word back that everything was good and it's normal. It's just like a little celebration that you have. I think all of us feel a little anxious, when we have to have those tests done. And I was sharing last week. I mean, both Mom and myself, we've had times where we've gone and have gotten an abnormal exam, and then you have to get a further examination. So, we've all been through that. And so for those of you who have been through, I mean, Mom went through radiation. She didn't have chemo. Some have gone through chemo. Some have, um, gotten, breasts removed and nice new ones. And so just, God bless you. God bless you all. And thank you for your courage. I know several of you who have just been courageous in your fight. And some of you, pulled through, and a lot of us know people who didn't make it. So let's do our best. Eat right, exercise, all those things that we can control. We can't control it all, but there are some things that we can control. Mommy, let me ask you just a few more questions.
Okay.
I wrote a couple of them down. How has being a wife helped you to grow? I mean, you were married to dad for 25 years. You've been married to Poppy.
I was married 29.
You were 29 years to my dad, and then Poppy, now you've been married 30 years. So, Jesus, Mom, that's like 60 years you've been married.
Yes.
And so so that gives you some authority, I think. Hey, Vanessa, Mommy, it's Nessie.
Oh, hi, Nessie.
She said, hi, Aunt B. Hi, baby. So I'm asking Mom, since she's had some, years of being married, what could she tell us about being a good wife? How has being a wife helped you to grow? That's what I want to ask you.
How has it helped me to grow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think the biggest thing it helped me to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I was young when I got married too,
Mm-hmm.
was learn to try to listen. I was not good at listening. And I think that's important. You have to really listen, because sometimes what they're saying to you don't take it serious, or you just sort of say, oh, you don't mean that. But listen, and then when you have a misunderstanding, don't go to bed angry. Try to just say, well, have a good night and let it go. Somebody has to give in sooner or later because we do. I know sometimes I hold things in and you can't do that. You don't hold things in. You get it, speak what you think, what you're thinking. And remember, they have feelings too. Try not to just be nasty to one
Yeah.
another, but to really talk to one another. And it's not
Okay.
easy.
No, to be married all them years, no. But that's good advice. I'm still a work in progress. Okay. But so we'll work on that some more, probably for the rest of our lives.
That's right. It's a lifetime job.
So mommy was a nurse's aide. She had like several careers. She was a nurse's aide. She worked in an insurance office as an administrator, and she also worked in high school after she retired from there. Which job did you like the best?
Nurse's aide.
Really?
I liked working with patients. I love caring for people. And at the time I was young, I was strong and no arthritis, nothing holding me back.
Hmm.
And I worked and I learned from the nuns at Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital. That was the hospital I started at. They taught me just about everything I know in the medical field, and I really wanted to be a nurse, but I did not pass the written test. I took
I don't know.
RN tests. I never passed it. I knew how to do the work, but I couldn't pass the test. So I thought and finally said, well, Lord, you must not want me to do that. So I went for medical transcriptions. And that's how I got to the insurance company. I worked with doctors transcribing all medical notes and accident notes or whatever, surgical notes. And that's how I got to work for the insurance company.
I didn't know that, but I'm sure mom could have passed that test. She just probably got herself all worked up that she couldn't do it.
They call it
But
test
anxiety, yeah. But you're so much more confident now, I think, than you were back then. I bet you could have passed it. Okay, so I already asked you where. Oh, okay, I got one more question, Mom.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite childhood memories?
When Vivian and I went to a place called Noah's Ark, which was down the street, it was a dance hall.
Well, you gotta tell them, yeah. What's
And
Noah's Ark?
Noah's Ark was it was a big building. A man named Mr. Percy and Miss Alice, his wife, they ran a little store in the front, and they let us dance on the weekend in the back. And Vivian and I would go down there. And then Reverend Ralph D. Graves, who is passed now, he was her brother.
He wasn't no reverend
He
then.
wasn't. I said it. I know he wasn't,
Mhm.
but he was always acting like one. He was always a special gentleman that I knew something special was. He was. I never realized he was going to be a pastor though. I thought it was going to be his brother, but I knew they were very, very gentlemanlike, and they never got in trouble. And they always were after Vivian and I about going to Noah's Ark, talking to the boys. But Vivian and I grew up together, and we had a good time. And we are still friends today. We call each other every month. She's in Delaware now. I don't see her, but we call each other to make sure each one is okay.
So, Mom,
Yep.
what's the memory about going to Noah's Ark? And you mentioned Uncle Ralph and
Because
stuff.
they didn't, the guys, the neighborhood guys didn't like us talking to the Philly guys that came over here. And we were interested in the Philly guys because the home guys, they were too much like our own brothers.
Mm-mm.
And we just had a good time.
So how old were you when all this was
And
going
I was
on?
about 16, going on 17, and my dad would say, be home at midnight. My mom said, she don't need to go down there to midnight. She need to be home at 11. They were very, very picky about the time. So it's usually around 12 o'clock, I say, one more record. And next thing I know, my dad was peeking in through the door down there. And
Really?
Vivian said, I guess we better go. Ralph said, no, you should have been gone.
I didn't know you could stay out till midnight.
I stayed out to midnight. I was supposed to be home at midnight, but
Mm.
I was listening to the last record at midnight, and everybody else, they were all older than me. I was the youngest person basically in the group, and I had they could stay out later than me, so I figured I should be able to stay out too. But I got in trouble a couple times where you know not being home at 12.
Well, you guys learned a little bit more about my mom, and so did I, because I didn't know some of that story right there. So thank you, mommy. Thank you. It was great.
You're
Big
welcome.
hugs.
I love you.
Ah, sorry guys, that was right into the earpiece, the earpiece. Thank you. You have greatness inside of you. I believe in you. This is mommy, Beatrice Ray, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye
Bye for
bye.
now.
No, no, that was the fun.
That's funny, Mom.